What's up, Auburn family? I am your host, C Dub. Last weekend was the soft opening for the 2023 season. Tomorrow, Thursday, August 31st, is the grand opening as some games kick off, even some SEC games kick off on the season. B. Will, Ike Jones, join me to give our predictions about what we think is going to happen this weekend in the SEC. And we'll even talk about the Auburn Tigers kicking off the Hugh Freeze era against UMass. The midweek report begins now. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the latest and greatest episode of the Midweek Rapport, brought to you by auburnsports.com. Guys, please be sure to head over there and check out their content as they provide some of the best coverage of your favorite athletic department, Auburn University. Appreciate them for supporting us, and we thank you guys for hanging out with us as well. Do us a favor. Great conversation tonight. Share this content, guys. Some of your friends, family, co-workers, other members of the Auburn family. Help them to get in on this discussion. Help us to grow our community. Smash that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Also, we got a special film review coming tomorrow. I can tell you how you can get access to that.
Yes, indeed. It's really simple. All you got to do is join. If you didn't know, 'tis the season. Your boy is going to be cranking out film reviews every week. We are going to watch the game again, regardless of what happens. I'm going to rewatch every game. So tomorrow we're going to be previewing UMass, and then Monday, be gracious with me if it's not Monday, we'll be reviewing the stuff. But you got to be a member to be a part of that stuff. You have to be a patron to get it on demand. So if you're not going to catch it during the live stream, you might not catch it if you're not a patron. So make sure you get your membership active, and you get a chance to get some free tickets if your name is called there. If you want to gift memberships, you can do that right now from the live chat, and somebody can have their first month of membership on you the same way Auburn Dad has already done. We appreciate you for continuing to do that. Hashtag get your weight up right now in the live chat if you want to be able to get a mug sponsored by War Eagle Oil. Hashtag that right now in the live chat. We'll be doing that drawing right around the 1 hour mark. And a lot of content coming out from the network, live streams, podcasts, all of that. Make sure you are locked in with the College Loop, the Auburn Express, and the Uptempo podcast over on your pod. And then College Loop, Uptempo, and right here at the War Rapport on YouTube to get all of the stuff that we've got going on. Trust me, you don't want to miss a minute of some of the best Auburn content that has ever graced the internet.
And with that, let's grab some super chats and comments. We appreciate you guys commenting as well as providing super chats. Oda says he doesn't care what any of these lukewarm AU faithful say. Auburn 65, UMass 9. Let that sink in. War Eagle.
Yeah.
Oda already starting off hot.
Yeah.
So I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it at all. We'll get into our thoughts about Auburn and the matchup against UMass later in the episode. Auburn Dad for Life says game week, baby. He's excited. We're excited about it as well. We're going to talk about that as we're going to open up this show. Leighton Keller says, what's y'all's opinions on the new first down clock rules and how that'll affect gameplay? Thoughts about that, fellas?
Well, it's back to what it used to be. This has been changed since we were in college. Like this is how it used to be. And it got changed to the clock stopping after a first down. I don't remember, 15 years ago or something like that. So it's not incredibly different. You lose a couple plays. You have to be very aware. I think in the game situations, pass the ball, hopefully, and you just kind of operate it like you would in the NFL. You're not going to get a first down stoppage. You're going to get incompletion stoppage or going out of bounds. So I think it probably is not going to be too big a deal. Coaches will have to emphasize it, but I don't think it's too big a deal.
Right.
I mean, it's definitely going to impact closer games when you get, if you're like, I noted this actually during the UMass New Mexico State game. They were 2 scores down with about 5 minutes left in the game. You've got to get more into your up-tempo offense earlier because first downs aren't going to stop the clock. So you're going to have less time / possessions to be able to get back into a game that you're down by a couple of scores. So it's going to impact. And you've got to be ready to really go up tempo if you've got to get a couple of scores in a short amount of time. So I think it's just going to be interesting last 5 or 6 minutes of a game, depending upon what the score is, how teams manage that clock.
And I think also, too, it affects what teams do on 4th down if they choose to give the ball back to certain teams or whatnot. So those manageable game decisions are going to be kind of in question this season with the new clock rule. So curious to see how that plays out. Got a question from AU Alum 94. He says he wasn't here last season. He's curious about how we do breakdowns after a game. Does it happen the next day, later that week? Ike, you want to break that down for him?
Yeah, so game day for all of those uninitiated. Pre-game, 30 minutes prior, we're live. Halftime, we're live. Post-game, we're live. We are here 3 times for you on game day. And then we come back on the normal weekend tailgate, and we're going to do a breakdown. Post-game is a reaction show, so it's not really a lot of analysis. We'll do some stuff and, what we felt like the keys to the game were, but a lot of the more statistical analysis, once we've had an opportunity to let our emotions get away from us, is going to be on that Sunday show following. And then we'll do actual film breakdowns that next week, Monday, Tuesday, somewhere in that range, but typically going to be Monday for that game. So a lot of conversation happening around what happened for that game coming up for you guys.
All right, I'm going to grab this last one. We're going to get into it. Auburn Dad for Life says his prediction is 48-3 to the good guys. Pretty convincing win there. I'm hoping you are a prophet, Auburn Dad. I foresee that you probably are. Gentlemen, it's here, man. It's here. This, to me, felt like a very short offseason, given that there was a lot to cover for Auburn in terms of recruiting, in terms of a lot of excitement that was generated by this coaching staff. It's always one of the longest off seasons in all of collegiate sports, but this coaching staff kind of made it a short one in terms of the transfer portal, recruiting. It was very eventful, but we're here. Football season is here. How are you feeling, B. Will? Who are you looking forward to this weekend, other than Auburn?
Okay. Thank you. Looking forward to seeing Auburn play. It really, it's hard. It almost doesn't feel like game week because we do so much stuff. We doing the same amount of stuff. And it's got to get real. Like, I think Friday really once all the cars start to pile into the city. You know what I mean? And you start seeing some familiar faces and everybody gets together. It'll start to feel like it. And then Saturday, when I wake up and I walk outside and I smell that meat grilling like The Rock, that's when it's like, okay. And then you turn on your TV on ESPN 8 o'clock and you see College Game Day. And you see Desmond picking Texas A&M to go to the college football playoff. Oh, dumb boy. But that's when it feels real. That's when it feels real. When they're doing the little pregame and they're about to talk about your game, like Auburn, UMass, like, and they say whatever they want to say, but they don't really know nothing about Auburn for real. They'll just say, oh, Hugh Freeze and a new quarterback, but they don't know. But they're talking about us on TV. That's when it feels real. I think that Saturday morning is when it'll be like, it's finally time. It's finally time. Most looking forward to this LSU and Florida State rematch. Must see TV. That feels like a heavyweight bout, WWE. Like that feels like the one for the weekend. Also, sneakily, North Carolina, South Carolina, because I think Drake May is the best quarterback in the country, excluding nobody, especially not the little scooting dude that played for the Trojans out west. He all right. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
All kind of shots today, baby. That's like
what I'm looking forward to. I don't wait to overreact. I overreact as soon as the game is over, the next day, And 3 days later, I'm still overreacting. And I'm throwing shots the whole time. But that's why it's football season, man. It's football season.
It's time, baby. It's time.
Ike, talk to me, man. How you feeling, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm looking forward to that Thursday night matchup, Utah versus Florida.
That's a good one.
And then Florida State versus LSU, probably the biggest games this weekend, not happening in Auburn, Alabama. The rest of the games, North Carolina, South Carolina is a bit intriguing. But I just don't think North Carolina is going to have any sort of defense. We'll talk. Never mind. We'll talk about it.
We get to talk about that one. We get to talk about that one.
Yeah. I'm a lot of these are just rematch games. So there's a lot more to these games that I'm looking forward to. FSU, LSU, you guys already mentioned. Florida, Utah, I'm looking at that one. So that's going to be a pretty interesting. Obviously, they want some revenge. That's a revenge game. And I really think that Florida needs that game. Their head coach needs that game. Just to kind of,
he needs every game, bro.
But he really needs to start off.
Yeah, he definitely needs the big ones. I'm just saying,
So he needs some cushion, man. So like I'm paying attention to that game to see how he does for sure. Let's get into it, man. Let's talk about some of these matchups that we have. We already mentioned Florida, Utah. Let's talk about it, man.
Yeah.
Utah is favored.
Shout out to our guy Kenny B right here for this. You know what I'm saying, hopefully you're watching right now, Kenny. If you're not, you're not doing your job, sir.
A little petty there. How are we feeling about this one?
I mean, we know what type of ball.
Florida pulled the upset last year at home.
They did. They had the home field advantage, which I think is important for Florida. One of the best home field advantages in the country. Utah may not be the best home field advantage in the country, but it's still home field. All right. It's still better for you as Utah than it is to be at the Swamp. So they don't have their starting quarterback. He was ruled out today. Cam Rising. He's a senior, very experienced, hard-nosed guy. Will put his head down and run. Will make pretty good passes most of the time. That's huge. That turns the game completely. They don't even have like a super strong passing game in the first place. I don't even know if their tight end who was supposed to be out. He was like, maybe he'll play, maybe he won't. I don't know if they called him in or out or not. But without Cam Rising, they don't have
Landon King, though. You know, on timeout.
Who's gonna throw him the ball, man? I have no idea. Like Utah, Kyle Whittingham is
not so speed sweep. Landon King, baby, let's go.
I mean, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing Landon play for real. I really am. But I think Florida wins this game, man. I think Florida wins this game. Cam Rising being out was the difference. I'm calling Florida in the upset.
Ike?
It's hard for me to pick Florida without their starting quarterback. It's also hard for me, to pick Utah without their starting quarterback. It's also hard for me to pick Florida with the guy they have starting at quarterback. This is tough because I don't believe in the quarterback at Florida, and I don't know who the quarterback is going to be for Utah. Having said all of that, I'm gonna roll with Kenny on this one. I'm gonna pick Florida in the upset to beat Utah on the road because I think the lack of Cam Rising is going to be enough for them to be able to overcome whatever. Yeah.
You don't sound happy about getting picked.
I don't because not because it's Kenny B, it's because I really don't believe in Graham Mertz, and it's difficult for me to pick a team whose starting quarterback is Graham Mertz to beat another Power 5 team that won their conference the previous year and has a good defense. However, I don't know. Utah's never really been good at offense. And without the guy who really makes that thing go for them, their starting quarterback, I don't know where they're going to score points.
Right.
I just don't know where they're going to score points. So I got to go with Florida.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the QB not being out for Utah changes things here. Florida was 1-3 on the road last year. Doesn't exactly strike fear in the teams who are hosting them. However, Cam Rising not being there is a big blow to their chances. I'm going to go Florida in an ugly game here. I think they win ugly. Doesn't matter as long as you get the dub. I'm going Florida here.
Okay.
So
we're
three
all
of
on one accord. We have to get
so
Mike's picks
far.
before
Well,
the
Mike,
kick,
you
but
already.
we'll get
I
them
can
back.
almost guess what Mike's going to say. Here.
He's going to go SEC.
He's going to go SEC. All right, SEC supremacy here for Mike.
I don't know, because he's been talking about him being ready to see Landon King all week. So maybe he's going to try to, give.
He may be ready to see him lose. He going Florida. I'm confident he's gonna pick Florida. He's gonna root for Landon. Landon gonna get some touches, but he's gonna. I don't know. He could surprise us here. Who knows? South Dakota at Mizzou. Mizzou for me.
Yeah, I mean,
Mizzou.
I didn't even know they had a football team in South Dakota. Continue.
Fair enough. Virginia at Tennessee.
Tennessee's going to win.
But
All right.
what you want to say? Do they cover?
Me and Blake talked about this on it used to be formerly betting with B Will. It's going to be B Will and Blake and B Will. I don't know. We'll flip the B's, get a proper name for the show, but we already talked about this in depth. So I don't want to spoil that. I'm just going to say, I'm not a Joe Milton believer until I see him beat a quality team this year. Now, last year, I saw Jeremy Johnson come in and spell Nick Marshall and look outstanding. But when Jeremy Johnson got the starting job, he was bad. I want to see Joe Milton play quarterback and do more than hit your home run shots, because that was working well before he got into the game. It's all on Joe Milton now. They're not scouting an offense that was run by Hendon Hooker. Though those receivers are gone, Hyatt and Cedric. What's his name? Cedric
Tillman,
I think. Yeah, he's in the league too. All right. So you lost some things. It's not that the system can't work. It's just go routes. It's like Gus inverted. You know what I'm saying? We're just doing kind of the same thing. That don't mean it can't work. He's got the arm for it, but if somebody can put heat on Joe Milton, let's see if he can hold up. I don't think Virginia is that game, but as far as whether or not they cover, I'm just saying I'm not ready to make that decision. Not at this point in the season.
Tennessee.
They cover?
I don't care. They're gonna win. I don't know if they cover. I don't know enough about Virginia. I just believe in Tennessee's offense.
You know a lot about Virginia.
Not in football.
No, yeah. I mean, that's all there is to know. That they double dribble in basketball. Yeah. That's all we need to know, and that's all we care about.
Yeah.
Ball State at Kentucky.
I don't know. Who did you pick? Who you picked in that game?
I had Tennessee.
Okay.
Had Tennessee. No surprises there. I think we're all in agreement so far. Ball State at Kentucky.
Yep.
Kentucky.
In agreement there. All right. Western Carolina at Arkansas.
Yep.
Arkansas.
Mercer at Ole Miss.
Yep.
No, I'm just playing. Ole Miss.
I would just do that just to be petty with them.
Yeah.
But no, I'm going Ole Miss here. Didn't know they even had a football team. Southeast Louisiana and Mississippi State.
We had a transfer player come from Southeast Louisiana a couple of years ago. Yeah, one of the defensive backs that was here in that first year under Harsin was Southeast Louisiana guy.
Yeah,
I forget which guy it was, but was it Knighton that was?
Yeah, Bidarius Knighton. I think it was Bidarius Knighton. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, they're still going to lose, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mississippi
I'm curious to see what Mississippi State. I don't even know. Is this televised? Is this game even televised? I'm curious to see what Mississippi State looks like post Mike Leach.
At worst, it'll be on SEC Network, alternates, or ESPN Plus. One of those.
Yeah. The sacrificial lamb at Georgia. I'm going Georgia.
Yep, Georgia.
Yeah, that's gonna be a real ugly game.
Yeah. New Mexico at Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
Yeah, Texas A&M should win this game. But,
Same. Agreed.
Yeah, it's not going to be an interesting week for picks for the most part. Just let's be clear.
Not. It's like three games, really.
It's about 3 games that
we'll get to the interesting ones. We're getting through these nonsense ones here.
Alabama A&M at Vandy. I'm going Vandy.
Yeah, Vanderbilt should win this game. Yeah,
they will win.
Middle Tennessee.
You don't think they cover though? That's a very strong.
I don't know what the line is.
No,
they don't.
There's no line.
There's no line for it. Oh yeah, that's right. They're playing. Yeah.
They let me and a lot of other people down last week when they had up 21 late, and then they just gave up the ghost. And so I'm looking at them with the side eye until they do something good. But yeah, Vandy will win that.
Yeah.
Middle Tennessee at Bama. I'm going Bama.
Bama will win.
Or them. As far as
yeah, it is. Because
I'm going them.
Yeah, I'll pick them on this game as well.
Sidebar, can you say the RT? Like some Auburn fans can say RT. Can you say it?
I mean, I'm capable of it. I don't want to.
Yeah, I try my best never to utter those words.
You mean roll tumors? Yes, that's what we'll be doing Saturday after the game. Yeah.
I can say that very easily. Yeah, I don't struggle with that one. All right, UNC, number 21, UNC at South Carolina.
Finally, something interesting.
Let's talk about this one
here,
gentlemen.
Okay. All right.
How we feel? Obviously, B. Will, you feel good about Drake May, but you mentioned that they got to outscore their opponents because they don't play defense over there.
Straight up cheeks. I watched them give up a ridiculous amount of points last year over and over and over again against teams that had no business being able to be in games with them, which is all the more reason why Drake May is amazing. But their defense is cheeks. I don't know if they got any better during this offseason.
You don't think Gene Chizik improved them over in the offseason?
I mean, God, I hope so. I really hope they got better during the offseason. This is a tough one for me, man, because I am a Drake May believer, but I do think South Carolina's got something brewing here. I'm going to take South Carolina to win this game because it's at home.
No, it's neutral site. It's in Charlotte.
This is
a neutral site game.
Different. That's a little different. It's a neutral site game.
It's not at South Carolina, then it's versus. I thought this was at South Carolina.
I thought it was at South Carolina. That is different. You know what? I'm still going to take South Carolina to win this game. I think that South Carolina's got the tools out there, and I think Spencer Rattler is ready to get the monkey off his back and go out there and win a big game. Let me get South Carolina to win.
South Carolina as well. South Carolina. I really believe in Gene Chizik as a DC. He's done it too many times at too many places. Year one.
You believe in more in Spencer Rattler?
No, it's because South Carolina has done a good job of accruing talent on both sides of the ball. See, Beamer's been doing a good job recruiting. Transfer Portland otherwise.
I agree.
A better job than North Carolina. North Carolina has the trump card with the best quarterback in the country. But the question is, if Gene Chizik got this group to play better defensively between year one and year two, I'm not charging year one to him, especially they got better over the season. It just wasn't great because they still just didn't have a lot to work with. Did they get significantly better from year one to year two? I don't know. This seems to be like a pride game, like a fighting for the pride of your state. I'm gonna give this to South Carolina. I think Beamer needs this to prove a point. He's got good momentum. If you can't beat the rival school, well, not technically the rival's Clemson, but you get what I'm saying. If you can't beat North Carolina when they are decent, they're not even great. They're decent. Hey man, when are you gonna do it? How are you gonna keep this momentum going if you don't get meaningful wins? You got a meaningful game one of the season. I think Beamer needs to do it, so I think he will.
Trivia. Without researching, guess who's the offensive coordinator for UNC, replacing Phil Longo?
Oh, I know this.
I don't know this.
Give me a second. Because we talked about this when we
don't look in the chat either, because they're going to try to.
No. I don't even. I want to remember because I know it. If you tell me, I'm gonna be mad.
4.
It's too much pressure. Just tell me.
Chip Lindsey.
That's
is the
right.
offensive
That's right.
Coordinator
That's right.
in North Carolina.
That's right. Chip
So
Lindsey.
very, very interesting. I was just curious to see who replaced Phil Longo over there. I'm gonna go with South Cackalack here as well.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with them as well.
Right. We haven't deviated at all. This is why we need Mike in here so he can make some kind of crazy pick.
Yeah.
He going all this. He would agree with this one, I think, too. The reason why is just we've seen South Carolina teams that don't really play good defense for whatever reason. South Carolina has a shot against those teams. And I don't expect North Carolina to just, new offensive coordinator, new offense. You still got Drake, man. I understand that, but I'm curious to see how they move the ball. If they come out sluggish or whatever, I'm anticipating a defensive struggle here. And I think those types of games lean in favor of South Carolina. I like their chances in games like they just win ugly. But we'll see what happens.
Okay.
All right. Let's see if we can break it up here.
It's the one right here. This is the one.
LSU.
Oh, yeah. I doubt we're all going to agree on this one. Okay.
Yeah.
LSU, Florida State.
Where's this game being played?
Neutral site in Florida, though, in the state of Florida, Orlando. It was neutral site in New Orleans last year.
Yes.
I
believe in the revamped Florida State. Go ahead, B.
I did not pick either way on the spread. That was a full pass to pick.
Oh yeah, that's a hard
either
pick.
Way.
That's
too hard to pick close. I can give you this. Both Blake and I agree that this was going to be under 56 points. I do not see either one of these teams running it up. I think this is it's kind of hard to call it a make or break game for Mike Norvell, but it really is because he doesn't have too much else to worry about on his schedule besides this game and Clemson. Those are the two teams that are actually quality teams on Florida State's schedule the entire year.
Make or break in what way?
That means that he had a successful 2022 campaign, but it was I think the no team that he beat last year had a winning record. So of the 10 wins, none of them ended up with a winning record, or none of them were ranked by the end of the season, one or the other. No, because LSU had a winning record because he beat them. I think there were very few teams in that win streak that were either winning record teams or some stat. I'm misquoting it.
It was something.
I'm misquoting it.
It was some numbers.
The bulk of it being that of all the wins, that Florida State has had last year, and even going back to his previous 2 years, very few were against quality opponents. So people were saying that regular season last year was a bit smoke and mirrors. It was, but they have been getting talent. They have been. I know that. They beat us for a couple of guys that we won. I think Keon Coleman, coming from Michigan State, ended up committing to Florida State. And when I watched that Peyton Thorne tape that I put together, I was like, Keon Coleman was doing work out there for Peyton Thorne. So
he is definitely good at contested catches for sure.
Yeah. So they got quality talent. And again, this is one
they
of
got
the
DeAndre Jones on the line. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. Good for DeAndre Jones out there.
Yeah. Notice how his voice got higher.
So listen, you got to beat LSU and you got to beat Clemson. And it looks like if you're good enough to beat those two teams, you should be good enough to wipe the rest of your schedule and go to a playoff. That's what they should be able to do. LSU wants it back in blood. I am sure they want it back in blood after last season. That's why I think this is too much of a toss-up. But I do think that because of what's on the line for both of them, they're going to be fighting like hell, man. I think this is under 56. I think this is a 24-20, 24-21, 27-21 type game. I don't think it gets over 56 points. But that is my conclusion as far as betting.
What's your pick?
I was hoping you forget.
The whole point of this is why we here. What are you talking about?
Ah, man, come on, man. It's too hard.
Yes, still well.
Pause.
Tough decisions have to be. Yes, the full pause on that, but continue.
You know what? I really can't live in a world where Florida State is actually good. I'm picking LSU. I don't want Florida State to be good. I don't.
I don't either.
I don't want to keep fighting them for recruits. I want them to be bad so we can steal some guys that they have recruited right now. And for that to come to fruition, I need them to lose to the SEC and continue to lose to teams they have no business losing to. So I'm predicting FSU loses to LSU game 1.
All based on hate. I like it.
Say it with me.
Hate.
I feel you, but if their QB is the truth, like I think he might be.
Who, the Florida State quarterback?
Yeah.
I didn't watch him enough to know. I didn't take them seriously.
I mean, everybody's been hyping him up this offseason. He played fairly
He
well.
played really good in the bowl game. He played really.
Yeah.
He looked amazing in their bowl game.
Who did they play in the bowl game?
I don't remember, but he looked. Yeah, I want to see them lose too, but I'm gonna go FSU here.
Hey, we have our first one where everybody's not picking the same thing.
What say you, right?
Yeah, Florida State's going to lose this game. I'm sorry. I am not a believer in their offensive line as of yet. I think that quarterback is going to have nightmares of the LSU pass rush. I think a second year in Brian Kelly's offense, you're going to see a more experienced and capable passing attack from LSU. I think LSU wins this game.
Yeah. We'll see. We will see on that. This may be me stepping out, taking a risk, but
that's not. I mean, listen, I don't by any means. Just because I am resolute in my pick, am I saying like this is going to be a blowout for LSU? I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be a close game, down to the wire sort of situation, similar to how it was last year. Not as sloppy as last year's game,
Right?
No.
But I just think that LSU's issues last year offensively early was a lot about whether or not the quarterback and Jaden Daniels was able to really understand what he needed to do in that scheme, and his comfort with being able to just let it fly. Yeah. They figured out later in the season he's a little bit better as a runner. If you give him the run option and you give him more of that stuff, he's going to be better. I think he's going to come back this year understanding what he needs to be able to do from a passing standpoint, but he still has the legs. I think he's going to be better in that offense this year. And I just think that defense is good. Like I'm a believer in LSU's defense this year.
I do too.
Mason Smith on the interior defensive line is good. Harold Perkins on the external of that defensive line is good. They've always had a good defensive backfield.
Mason Smith is out for this game.
Is he out for this game?
He is ruled out because he signing autographs.
Good God.
And not in an NIL
during
capacity.
the NIL era, bro.
Not in an NIL capacity.
Hold on, cuz. Wait, man, you got to give me that information before I go on this whole rant about their defense, man. Because Mason Smith is a difference maker up front for them.
That's what we heard.
Still good.
They appealed it.
Yeah, but see, here. Okay, so I gotta think about this again though, because a lot of what I'm saying, I think, is dependent on me feeling as if LSU is going to be good on first and second down, and you're going to give Harold Perkins more opportunities to be disruptive in the backfield.
Right.
If Mason Smith is not there, not that he is that big of a difference maker to the point where if he's not there, they're not going to be good. It hurts their depth along that defensive line. And so in a game that I anticipate being close, you're still going to be able to run the ball late in that game. And not having the depth along the defensive line is going to make a difference in whether or not LSU is going to be able to stand up in this game. That definitely changes the calculus a little bit for me.
Yeah, he's a huge piece for them.
Ooh, let me think about that. Yeah,
you was cooking though on your analysis. I agree. I agree with all of it. I want y'all to remember though that what happened LSU gave them the game. Like there were miscues across the board.
No, for sure.
Multiple injuries across their defensive front seven.
But neither team played well last year, and LSU was hurt a lot last year.
A lot.
I mean, it was that they were not at full strength, and they still barely won a very sloppy game. Barely lost a very sloppy game.
Right.
But see, I just don't think Florida State's going to be that bad week 1 as they were last year either.
Right.
So.
I'm gonna stick with my pick for LSU. I'm gonna stick with my LSU pick on this one, but I am a lot less confident about that. A lot less confident about that without Mason Smith.
Yeah, how it started, how it ended. Wow.
Wow.
Hold firm, man. It's just hang on to your pick. Hold your pick. We'll see. We'll see.
Like I said, that definitely changes the calculations in my brain. But I just think LSU is going to be better offensively than they were last year early. Because they didn't lose a lot.
Yeah.
They didn't lose a lot. They said Emory is out, another back not playing for them. I just think now LSU is pretty deep at running back. Emory's good, but I don't think that he's going to be. If they had issues with like wide receivers and quarterback and offensive line, I'd feel a little differently. One running back being down ain't gonna be the.
So you still LSU?
I am still LSU.
He's sticking with it.
I'm very shaky on that one right now, though. But yeah, I'm still there.
All right. See, you still Florida State?
How do you get in trouble for signing autographs in an NIL era, bruh? That's the whole point of this.
Apparently, it happened.
All of this other stuff doesn't matter. None of this other collectives. The whole purpose of NIL was for you to be able to make money off of your name, which is your freaking autograph, image, and likeness.
He believes in IL.
Wow.
Right? Now, he believes in IL.
Oh.
It happened like before the week before NIL started, like 2021 or something.
Oh, wow.
Come on.
And apparently LSU knew this was coming. I saw an article that said LSU considered scheduling a week 0 game last minute just to let that be the game that he said because they knew it was coming, but then decided against it.
What in the name?
Is it just one game?
Yeah, just one game. Just Florida State.
Good.
That's a little petty though. I'm not gonna lie, that's a little petty. They were like, no, but it happened last week. That wasn't legal last week. That's a little petty.
Crazy.
All right, guys.
Wow, that's crazy.
Midweek Rapport. Share this content. Smash that like button. Help us out with the like button, guys. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Pay some bills and acknowledge our sponsors.
This edition of the War Rapport is brought to you by our generous sponsors. AuburnSports.com. For news and notes on all things Auburn Sports, head over to AuburnSports.com. When you work out, grill out, and chill out, you deserve the best life possible, and Golden's Cast Iron is here to provide the tools to help you do it. Check them out at GoldensCastIron.com. And our giveaway sponsor, War Eagle Oil. For all of your motor oil and related products, head over to WarEagleOil.com. Thank you to all the sponsors of the War Report, and thank you to those of you who have become members of the War Report. We appreciate it. If you'd like to become a member and get access to all of the great things we've got going on this season, I'm talking about film reviews. I'm talking about I didn't mention this. Game day chat is for the post game, at least, only going to be. Actually, we hadn't decided how we was going to do that this year. We typically only open that up for members to keep the trolls out, and we might reinstate that again this year, just because I feel the spirit of trolling rising up in some of these people. So we might do that. Might wait until we get to a game that matters. We might let y'all troll a little bit after UMass, but be aware, I could cut the tap off at any time. Anyway. Patron members, you guys get the on-demand content. Also, ticket giveaways happening all season for our patron members. Membership gifting is a thing you can do the way that Auburn Dad and Brian Hancher now have done during this live chat. If you'd like to gift a membership so somebody can get 1 month free on you, you can do that right now from the live chat. If you hashtag get your weight up right now in the live chat, you have an opportunity to win a War Report mug sponsored by War Eagle Oil. That giveaway, War Eagle Oil, is the place for all of your motor oil and related products. Head to wareagleoil.com for that. And just as a reminder, we have been working, baby. We out here doing big things in these streets, and we have a new fireside with the War Rapport, sponsored by Golden's Cast Iron, that's going to be dropping this week. Here's a little preview and a little taste of what you guys can expect to see.
Who think they got the flyest route on the team other than Puck?
But like they're absolutely wrong. Like, nah, it's not a real thing.
It's all in their head. It's an illusion. Like who is it?
Let me see, bro.
Let me see what I can put on the spot.
I gotta go with the young dudes.
Yeah, I probably gotta go with somebody young. I'm trying to see them.
Who always be riding around? Bro, they be driving from down the hill just
just driving around.
Who is it? Wilkie.
Yes.
Wilkie, man. Wilkie, bro.
What does he ride? What does he drive?
He got a Charger.
Yeah, he got a little Charger.
Yeah, he got a Hemi.
Yeah.
But he's just driving like, just burning gas.
Drive like no reason.
Bro, you can just go park and walk.
Bro, staying down the hill, he gonna drive from the parking deck to the other parking lot, bro. 30-second ride, like, come on, bro.
Then he be smashing.
Oh, God.
Yes, indeed. Fireside with the War Rapport, Jack Boys edition, coming to you guys this week, man. We got my man C-Dub in on this one. Got an opportunity, and we got joining us now live, our guy Mike G.
Hey, what's going
From
on,
a
fellas?
remote location. Where are you, bro?
I am broadcasting live from Vintage 2298 tonight.
These are his vintage headphones. He left the orange at home.
That's right. Word is there may be a little taste of Auburn football in the house at Vintage tonight. You guys know they're a great sponsor of the war for helping us with the firesides, like I just mentioned. So we are broadcasting live to bring awareness of their business. Again, support us by supporting our sponsors, 2298 East University. Come check them out.
For sure. Are we ready to talk about Auburn?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Closer.
All right. Well, listen, we all know it's coming this weekend, this Saturday. The Hugh Freeze era starts this Saturday, September 2nd, 2:30 Central Standard Time, ESPN. Is that right? The odds there?
I believe so. Oh, I put
got them.
There. Yeah.
Yeah.
Say, yeah.
No, we're favored in this one.
We're favored.
The FBI favors us as well. This is the first time playing UMass in this meeting. So UMass is bringing their undefeated record into Jordan-Hare. Will we expect it to die? But let's talk about it, gentlemen. Huh?
Yeah, it was 37. It moved to 35.
I thought it was
39. It started
39. Oh, wow. It's gone that much.
Interesting.
How are we feeling about this? Mike G, you just hopped on. Just kind of thoughts overall about this matchup. How you feeling about Auburn Tigers versus a UMass team that's probably not as bad as we probably thought they were going to be? How you feel, man?
They are. I think they are.
Fair enough.
They're bad. And I think that New Mexico State maybe wasn't as good as a lot of people thought they were going to be. But ultimately, I'm not looking for Auburn. I'm looking for Auburn to barely not cover in this one, guys. There were a lot of people offended on Twitter when I gave my score prediction. I could see some garbage time touchdowns happening. I'm a little worried about depth on defense. But ultimately, this is a team that Auburn should handle easily. I talked about this on the drop, right? It is, it's a team that we should overmatch. Auburn should overmatch them physically. Timer Pumachan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pumachan. Yeah, Pumachan. He's got some wheels on him. And he can be a load to bring down, certainly. But again, he didn't pass the ball particularly well. 58% passing. They attempted one pass, guys, 20 yards or more. It was incomplete. It was completely disaster. I don't know that they're going to be able to push the ball down the field if they try. I could see some interceptions in this one. This is something we talked about in some previous segments about how many interceptions is Auburn going to get this season. That's not a metric that they've excelled at over the last few years. So I expect them to excel in this one. No chance for UMass, man. And I actually expect them to come out fast as well, too. So the run game should be working. They did not grade out very well. They had one lineman maybe grade out okay at the run, at run defense. But yeah, Auburn should be able to run all over UMass. And I've got Auburn's running back sitting right. You guys are going to run on them, right? You are? 500 yards? Yeah. They're going to run for 500 yards.
Nice. Ike, talk to me, man. Peyton Thorne makes his start. Hugh Freeze talks about some of the things that he has a great deal of respect for UMass and their defense. I mean, he's faced them several times being at Liberty. Is there anything concerns about Peyton Thorne in his first start against this team and what they like to do with QBs? I mean, you did a kind of a teaser of a film watch the film review. What do you expect to see in the passing game? Mike G talked about the running game. Is Auburn going to be able to throw and feature a forward pass this weekend that will have fans feeling good about this season?
I mean, I think that they still will be able to. Coach Hugh Freeze is familiar enough with kind of how to attack this defense that he'll try to put us in some advantageous situations and make sure that Peyton Thorne is aware of some of the traps that they're going to try to run. I think it's really going to be mostly about making sure that the offensive line can protect. If the offensive line can protect well enough, Peyton Thorne will be fine. If he's under duress, that's when he's going to start to potentially make some mistakes. But my biggest worry is that he's going to come out gun shy, not wanting to pull the trigger on stuff because he's not trusting what he's seeing because of whatever with the receivers. If he's not gun shy and he's just going out there trusting what he sees and letting it rip, I think we'll be fine. And we'll know that pretty early in this game, whether or not that's the case. But the one thing I do know about Peyton Thorne from watching enough of his film is that he doesn't really get down on himself where he just kind of implodes, right? Like he might make a blat, but like we watched, if you guys are our patron members, you can go back and watch this, or if you were one of our supporters, you would have seen that live or the day of that I did this. That Michigan game that they won 2 years ago, Peyton Thorne threw 2 interceptions early in that game, and they came back and won the game. He made some really good throws late in that game. So not saying that UMass is going to be somebody who we should be worried about him having to make good throws late for us to win a game or even come back in a game. My point in all of that is to say early mistakes with Peyton Thorne don't make me feel as if we're, he's out of it right now. We've noted about previous quarterbacks that if they don't start well, you're pretty much going to get what you get, right? Like some of our quarterbacks in the past, if they didn't start well, you would never see them turn it around. You'd never see them get back into a groove. They have to start well, or it's just going to go downhill from there. I don't believe that about Peyton Thorne.
Do we expect to see, because one of the things that Hugh Freeze talked about, and B. Will, you can jump in here, was about Peyton Thorne pressing. First game of the season, new team, want to assert myself. Is that a concern in this game? Maybe perhaps an SEC game, but do we think that we see any instances of that maybe the first drive of this game be?
I don't know if this is going to be the first drive, because you can absolutely take the fangs out of a defense that's looking to attack and confuse you by running into their chest. And we think we're equipped to do that. So it might not matter what they want to do to surprise if they stack the box enough. I mean, you could always, be on the line, then you back out into coverage, try to throw the quarterback off a little bit. But Hugh Freeze seemed to understand what Don Brown, their head coach, a defensive coach, likes to do, which is an advantage. We already saw what he can do and what their offense can do. That's an advantage as well. I think we've got the upper hand, and as complimentary as Hugh Freeze wants to be about their head coach and what they can do on defense, he kind of has a good idea of what they're capable of. And we might not necessarily be able to say that. I mean, Brian Harsin had played against San Jose State before when he was at Boise. It didn't matter much. But did you play him 4 years straight? You know what I mean? Like, he just got done playing Don Brown in this defense last year and 3 years prior. I think that's a good understanding. You can prepare Peyton Thorne for what? That head coach and that defense is trying to do to you to confuse you and mess you up. I'm less worried about it for that reason. And also because, like I said, we should have an offensive line and running back group that embarrasses people. That we should be able to wear people down and hurt them. So I'm less concerned about Peyton Thorne getting sped up or getting confused, because I think, as should be the case, the offensive play calling should protect the quarterback and allow him to take advantage of whatever the defense's weaknesses are. I think we have that here between Philip Montgomery and Hugh Freeze. The game plan will be solid. I don't expect Peyton Thorne to show any weaknesses this game. Maybe against Kyle because they're better athletes, but that's in the future. For this game, I don't expect him to get sped up or confused to the point where he throws an interception. Like maybe a tip pass or something. Sure, anything can happen, but will this defense turn him over? I don't see that happening.
There is a storyline developing, speaking of running backs, about whether Jarquez Hunter is actually going to play in this one. Hugh Freeze took the fifth when asked again about Jarquez Hunter. And, I don't think that it will matter in terms of the outcome of this game, but I will be interested to see how that affects, run splits and totals and things of that nature, right? He is a dynamic talent. He looks to be the focal point of this offense as well this year, probably as the most talented offensive player, or viewed as the most experienced and talented offensive player. So I'll be interested to see he's played this one very close to the best. Auburn has said nothing when it's come to Jarquez Hunter. And I'm a little shocked that we're 3 days out from the game and we still haven't heard anything definitive about a suspension or whether he's going to play or not. So I think a lot of people are assuming.
I'm not either.
Really? Are they going to wait till game time to say, hey, he's not going to play in this one? Are they going to say anything at all? And then we're just suddenly going to see him at halftime?
Option B. They're not going to say anything at all.
Wow, man.
He's been clear on that, though. He's always said, I'm not going to speak on this situation. He's been saying that for weeks. So, I think that it is.
But you have to speak at some point.
Does he have to? Where is there a rule that says he has to?
If he sits out, he's going to have to, I guess. If he sits out, I think you have to say something. You're going to have to answer.
He's going to have to be asked. Is he going to have to respond? No.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake. You've got to say something. I think he has to say something.
Why is that a mistake?
Well, again, you have something that's very public that's going on with your star player, and to have him sit out and just say nothing about it, right? Or to play, I just think he has to make a statement. Just make a statement of some kind. Yes, a violation of team rules occurred. He's suspended for the first half. Why say? I don't understand saying nothing here. I just don't. I understand giving fans in the media.
Well, I think he'll say something. I just don't think he'll give people a lot about the situation. Just the obvious. The obvious. He's suspended.
I don't think he's got to say anything, honestly.
He'll say something.
He doesn't have to.
He'll say something because he'll be asked, but it may not be what people may want to hear.
He may respond, I'm not commenting on the situation.
That's what I'm saying.
Always been saying,
yeah. He could say that. So.
I don't.
Who does he owe that explanation to? Is what I'm asking.
Show me a situation where a coach has had their star player sit out and they've said, not even acknowledging that a suspension is in place. Right?
I don't know if I can show you that situation. I'm asking you, why does he need to?
He absolutely needs to. He owes that to fans. He absolutely owes that to fans to say something.
Okay, we'll definitely disagree on that.
Yeah, he owes that. Speak up, say something.
Yeah, we disagree.
As far as what we knew about the Jarquez situation, do we even know that he broke team rules?
Okay, well, if he plays, then just say he's going to play. What's the point? What's saying nothing? If he didn't, then just say that.
It don't matter. Why is it if Jarquez trots out on the field, what's gained or lost?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If he's going to play, then why not just say that? Why say I'm not commenting?
Why do I need to find out before the game starts whether that's true or not?
If there is an ongoing investigation still, then I can understand that. I just think it would be easy to say there's an ongoing investigation, right? So I can't comment. That's better than I'm just not going to comment, and that's
Better
it.
for
And
assuming that it is an ongoing investigation.
Better for who?
right.
Who is that
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
for?
We don't know anything right now. I mean, we're disagreeing on the fact that he owes it. You don't think he owes it to fans? I think he owes it to fans to say something.
No, we've already established that. You just keep trying to reiterate that he
Better
owes, and I'm
for
asking you,
fans. Better for fans to know.
Why? You're not giving a reason. You're just saying
hold on, Ike. Before we move on, because we're spending a lot of time here.
Football season. Well, he just hasn't said anything that actually means anything other than he owes it. But I'm asking why.
But I guess the question is, he owes the fans an explanation if Jarquez does not play.
Yeah, if he doesn't play, you have to say something. You have to say something about. You can't have something that's this public. And like, I just think that a simple statement would either stop the questions. It's almost like saying, why talk to the media at all? Why tell us anything? Right?
Yeah.
Like, he owes it. He owes it to fans to explain when your high-profile player is involved in something and he may or may not sit out. If it's an ongoing investigation, I understand saying we can't comment because something's ongoing. I totally get that, right? If he is going to play, just say he's going to play. I don't get it. If he's not going to play, right? I don't. Yeah, if he's not going to play, then I just feel like you got to say something.
Yeah, at this point,
it's so nice.
I'm just waiting on an actual reason, and he hasn't given one, which is fine. So we just disagree.
All right,
football was the better running back. Hank was the better running back.
The reason is you're the coach and you owe shit to fans, man. That's why.
You don't owe them anything but W's. That's it. You don't owe them explanations about why you didn't play somebody.
Absolutely.
You owe them an explanation if you don't get a dub.
That is an opinion that we disagree on. That's fine.
Okay, fair
we
enough.
can move on.
Cool. Hugh Freeze didn't have to tell you anything ever. He didn't have to answer any question
He doesn't
immediately. He doesn't owe anything. Right.
You took it from one question to all the questions. You brought that out a lot.
I love how we established that we don't agree and then continue to argue. That's beautiful, right? Like,
and then
we established
disagreeing about somebody.
Still,
I don't like how he's like, Hugh Freeze can walk through walls and walk on water because he's a Christian and Jesus blessed him to do it. Like, what? Where are we getting that from?
I'm here to fuck it up, but things been too peaceful. Let's go.
Oh, that's funny.
Football's
all right.
back.
Yeah, football is definitely back.
That's right, Ben. Football's back. That's right. We didn't even argue about football. This is crazy. It's not even a football argument, but it's cool. It's still fun.
We rarely argue about football. It's always some sort of minutia around football. It's rarely about actual game stuff.
I don't care about this no more. Listen,
I didn't care about it from the beginning.
Defense.
You don't care if you don't play.
What are we looking forward to seeing? Let me ask you this: what player are we looking forward to seeing other than Jarquez on Saturday?
DeMar Elston.
Yeah, we agree on something. There we go.
DeMar Elston. DeMar Elston. It's got to be DeMar.
B.
Fairweather.
Yeah,
I got to see what Fairweather can do, man. I got to see what he's going to be doing in this offense. We've been worried about the wide receivers at some point over the last 8 months. We've been worried about the offensive line. We think maybe that's solved. Tight end has been invisible at Auburn for like 8 years, man.
Was he listed second on the depth chart?
Who? Fairweather?
Was he first or second on the depth chart? I don't remember.
He was definitely
100%.
I would say it's been longer than that, B. I think.
I mean, year one under Harvey Schenker was being used.
That's true.
I mean, he broke a single season record, so he was getting used.
I guess he was. It didn't feel like he was like a true threat. I don't know if that's.
I mean, our offense wasn't good, so it's kind of hard for anybody to be listed as a true threat when your offense isn't very good.
Uzoma he wasn't dynamic, but he was a sure-handed, great
That's been
blocking
longer than 8 years, I thought.
2013 was Uzoma, of course. We went. Did he stick around for 2014, and did he leave after 2013?
He may have stuck around for one more year after that.
That's what I'm saying. Between 2015 when he was gone to 2022,
Fair enough.
We didn't have a dependable all the time tight end. So, yeah, Fairweather could be special. I think he could be the key to this whole thing. Honestly,
okay,
he really could be. So, I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Ike, correct me if I'm wrong, you just agree with Mike on something? Was it Damari?
Yeah, Damari. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got a Damari. We have a Fairweather. I like what Zach put here. Here's who I was thinking, because this guy's been making a lot of noise through fall camp. I want to see Shane Hooks. I want to see what this guy's doing. What the hype has been about this guy. I want to see him make some plays, catching passes. I'm excited to see him on defense. Who you guys looking forward to checking out?
I mean, if he
Everybody at the
plays,
jack position.
I was about to say, if he plays, I was really excited to see what Jalen McLeod does. Hopefully, he still will have an opportunity to go out there and wreak havoc.
I'm hearing he may still play. I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, the chances are he will play, but I just don't. So it might be a situation where they only play him in sub packages and only if we're like desperately in need of a pass rush. I'm actually also looking forward to, as Mike said, we're agreeing again. This is crazy. 2 times in a row. We actually don't hate each other. People believe that or not. What Steven Sings is going to be potentially doing, because been hearing that he's been doing really well with the pass rush. If we have multiple pass rushers who can generate pressure from that jack position, I don't even know what I'm gonna do with myself, because when is the last time that's happened at Auburn? Multiple, not having one guy, but I'm talking about more than one guy who you can line up out there as an edge rusher, and he's gonna go get after the quarterback. When's the last time you remember that happened?
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Who
that's right, because Eku
Leota
was
was there.
And then TD Moultrie was out there getting work, and Derek Carr was out there getting work.
TD Moultrie was
he was the surprise that year.
TD didn't play for like a span of 3
He got
games
injured.
in the
He
middle.
did get injured.
He got injured and he got suspended for a
right.
portion of the season.
Yeah,
and then
that's right.
he kind of came on like late in the year. So I'm talking.
They
about
never explained his absence either.
Full season's worth. Imagine
How's it
that, a
been
coach
explained?
not
Nothing.
explaining what happens with somebody not being there. But it matters if he's a star player, apparently. But anyway, TD Moultrie wasn't the entirety of the season doing that, though.
Right. He turned it on. He came on.
Yeah. So
they
I'm
put
talking
they
about,
put him at the edge. He found new life for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about game one, game breakers, more than one of them on the edge for Auburn. I don't remember the last time that was a real.
We'll see. We will definitely see for sure. B.
Defense, I want to see what Keys can do. We know linebacker was the worst position group on defense last year. They got plenty of new bodies there. Do we have a good complement of 2 players that can start, that can be consistent? We think they've spoken highly of Larry Nixon, but yet he's not necessarily the starter. Leahy Freeze tell that nobody's necessarily starting outside of QB Peyton Thorne, because that's the guy that
we're not actually starting players. They're going to line up with nobody on the field and just let them be out there.
I get what he means, though. It's like, I'm not telling you that this guy has the job locked down because he came out here first. We're going to try everybody. So I get it. I want to see if Keys, I've seen reports about a Keys-Riley pairing at the 2 linebackers. I want to see what that looks like, but mostly Keys, because I want to see if we got that fixed at linebacker. So I want to see what Austin Keys can do this year.
Yeah, you took mine because I'm curious to see how healthy he is, because I know he has been held out of summer fall camp. So I'm curious to see how healthy he is. Obviously, he has been a big cog in that linebacker room. So I definitely want to see him out there. I want to see what the youngster's going to do. Falk, man. I expect him to get some burn. See what the hype is about that kid. So Falk and Keys are 2 guys that I'm keeping an eye on. Obviously,
I want to see the young boy on the outside that everybody keeps talking about, K and Lee.
Okay.
I want to see him go out there and compete. K and Lee.
Larry Nixon.
Larry Nixon for you?
Larry Nixon.
Right.
Yeah, Larry. I want to see Larry Nixon. Yeah, I think it's interesting. And I also want to, what's the kid that's backing up at safety?
Eugene Asante? Oh, you said backing up who?
Speaks.
Oh, Griffin Speaks. I was going to say.
Yeah,
I want to see
Speaks.
Eugene Asante get some burn finally.
Yeah,
for
so,
sure.
Yeah,
I know you was. I know you was excited about him last year, Ike. When
I
he
was,
came
man.
A lot of people should play in this one, right? So, if it sounds like we're excited about seeing a lot of people, it's because a lot of people should actually play in this one. And hopefully Hugh Freeze has a plan to get a lot of people some time. This is going to sound like a weird one, but if Robbie can't go, I would actually be excited to see Holden Gurner.
Yes.
In meaningful
I think they should play Holden Gurner regardless in this game,
Yeah.
just because I mean, if Robbie's not 100%, there's no reason to trot him out there behind the second team offensive line Just let him be a sub package guy for that game, and let Holden get some snaps, man.
Look, Robbie is one of, if not the toughest guys on this team, right? So I know he's going to try to play,
For sure.
but an oblique injury is not really anything to mess with. So it's going to be interesting to see how they manage that, right? You know,
So
his
you do
want to play with. So like his want to play with, you know, again, possibly needing him this season down the road and trying to keep him healthy as their primary backup quarterback. Remember on the depth chart, they listed it Robbie or Holden, right, at the 2. So I think that might be because of that oblique injury that they're saying, Holden, you need to stay ready, right? So, I want to see how Hugh Freeze is going to manage that. But I'd be excited to see Holden go out there. You know, I had somebody say to me, you know, Holden, you know, is whatever under pressure, right? And like, I didn't feel like that was a fair comment based on that 1 or 2 drives that he got in that Missouri game. You know, I don't think judging how he feels the rush was fair in that particular situation. So I want to see that. Ike and I interviewed Al Borges, and he had said to us that if a QB feels the pressure, that's not something he can fix, right? Like, you know, he's about a quarterback. You know, if a guy is scared of the rush, I don't know how to fix that. You either got what it takes or you don't. So I want to see Holden has what it takes. I believe that he does. And I think that maybe, again, a lot of people wrote him off just based on what wasn't a very good system last year.
Right. Agreed. Good points. Listen, we're at the hour mark. It's time to give away a mug, courtesy of War Eagle Oil. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments. Actually, it's kind of too late. Ike's ready to draw, and he's drawing right now.
Hey, man, we getting to the money. Somebody's got to win this mug today. Who's it going to be? Jimmy Carter. That's not like the president, is it? Because I don't think we're going to be able to get him that mug.
I don't think
I don't think we're going to be able to give him that mug. But, yes, Jimmy Carter, if you're
let us
still
know
in
if you're
here,
here.
let us know.
Let us know if you're here. Let's grab some comments, guys. Chris S says, appreciate the ad hoc watch the film, Ike. Was that interception a gamble in your opinion? Do you think the go route beats it? Didn't see a safety covering the back half.
It was not a gamble, and we will definitely talk more about that play tomorrow on Watch the Film. So come tune in tomorrow if you want to get the remainder of my answer about that.
Nice pub there.
Yeah,
Chris S says, can someone explain what Coach Hugh Freeze meant by some of our past plays or runs?
RPO scheme, basically. So he's talking about the fact that so the question was asked by Mike about whether or not they were going to have a focus on running the football, right? And he was talking about the fact that it may have started as a called run, and then they went, because it has RPO with a pass tag on the back half, it ended up as a pass play. So don't look at the number of pass attempts and number of rush attempts as an indication of what they decided they wanted to do coming out as a play call. It's more so about what the defense dictates that will determine how they do a call on the actual particular play. They may call a pass play and they're like, oh no, this is a good opportunity to hand the ball off, and vice versa. Also talking about the fact that some of your shorter pass plays are as effective as runs because they function to be able to get small chunks at a time in some of your quick games. So yeah,
I think Mike Leach kind of did the same thing in his offense. He considers some of his passing plays as runs as well, I think. So just a matter of how you choose to look at it. But thanks for the explanation, Ike, on that.
yes, sir.
Auburn Dad says B. Will definitely was having a bad trip off gummies. Should have went rogue shop.
I don't know what that was about. I guess because he wasn't ready to pick somebody earlier, he was just talking, and then he was just like, I don't want to pick. So,
by the way, I didn't get to put my picks in earlier, so my picks are whoever actually wins those games.
So we're going to put all losses in the column for Mike. Got it.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
Yeah,
all right.
If you don't get your picks in, they all L's. Loose.
Mike is going for Southeast Louisiana. Go get him, Mike. Oda Smith says Lane Kiffin, the next head coach at Florida 2024. You heard it here first. Wow.
At Florida?
Wow. So hold on. There's a couple of things brewing here. You think that Sunbelt Billy is going to get fired.
Sunbelt Billy.
And Lane Kiffin is going to go to Florida as his replacement. That's a lot.
I thought Lane was going to Bama. That's what everybody keeps saying.
Yeah. Lane should be looking for the door in the next 2 seasons, though. That's real, because it's finna fall apart. But
I mean, he just got his paycheck. He might stick around till they tell him to leave.
Oh, they finna tell him to
In
leave
2
because they
years?
can't really afford it.
So in 2 years? Because with that money comes some expectations. So you going 8-5 or 8-4 in the season, that ain't gonna cut it for what you getting paid.
He making $10 million and he ain't gonna touch double-digit wins for the rest of his time at Ole Miss.
$9.5 million they gave Lane Kiffin. Yikes!
To say, well, we can't really have culture here because guys ain't gonna stick around, so we're just gonna do what we do.
Yeah, we don't have enough NIL to compete.
Right.
So give it to me.
They spent all the NIL money on his contract.
Oh man,
They had some left for Kamarion Franklin. Apparently,
he needed.
They
that
did.
one.
That was their one.
He
That was
needed
their one.
Listen, they needed that one.
He needed that one.
Yeah, they did.
He needed. He can't lose him of all places, Auburn. So he needed that one.
We already picked the spot. Hey, if Shane Hook shows out this year, remember he was committed to Ole Miss first. Let's just remember that. We stole him. Yes.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it was.
Oh, I
It
don't know
was.
that.
they got a kid from. Oh man, I was just watching. It was a team that North Texas played last year. UTSA, a wide receiver from UTSA, I thought was pretty good. Like when I was watching the UTSA North Texas footage to try to get some stuff for Shorter and Larry Nixon, I kept seeing this kid, and I was like, "Yo, is he? There's no way he's still at UTSA if he still has eligibility left."
Right.
Yeah, he's at Ole Miss now, so they got him at least one good one.
Okay. All right. Hey, ask Mike G who gonna win LSU versus FSU. I already know what you say.
LSU, 100%. Forget Florida State. Yep. I mean, eventually Florida State will be part of the SEC, I believe. I think them and Clemson will be the next 2 schools to join. But this is I hate Brian Kelly so much, but I think he's building something there, and I think he's also going to develop Jaden Daniels into an even better quarterback than what we saw last year. So if he becomes more consistent, I see LSU taking this one. I mean, it was a close game last year, right? Like, so this year, I think LSU got better. I'm not sure how much better FSU got.
We will definitely see this Sunday. Isaac Cooper says Mike G going to town on that meat. Y'all say it together with me. Pause. All right.
Whoa.
Hey,
yo,
yeah, that's hey yo, ain't it?
As soon as this is over, I am going to have the elk. So yeah, that's happening.
Oh, pause,
Definitely
man.
happening.
Come on, man.
That was a hey yo.
I hope you put a pause in the chat after you said that, and we just didn't get it on the screen, bro.
Y'all wild in this game week.
You wild every week. Stephen Neely says, yep, y'all need to become patron members. So much insight that you can only get here with the War Report gang. War Eagle to you, Stephen Neely. Glad you are a patron member. Appreciate you, man. Travis Latham says defense should be ready to show and prove something. That's what I'm talking about. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping they show week 1 that, hey, it's different here. I'm curious to see the defense under our new defensive coordinator. So I'm excited about that. Walker Show says over and under 40 points scored.
Over.
In what game?
In our game.
Yeah, our game.
Our game? Oh, definitely.
I'm going over here.
Like he's talking about for Auburn, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay, just for us. Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, he's just talking about
Auburn.
not. He's not talking about the over under total
The
score.
total. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Over. I think over.
I'm going under on that.
Really?
Yeah. I think they throttled down by the end of the game. I think we scored something like 37, 38.
49
Does anybody
points.
remember
I'm going 42.
what Hugh Freeze did when he was at Ole Miss playing lesser teams and they were up big? Like, did he take Chad Kelly out and throttle it down? Like, I don't remember. Like, out of habit, I know that Saban, right? He's going to take it out, take the guys out, put the defensive backups in, but he just wants the offense to just run, and whatever. I don't know what Hugh Freeze does, but as a passing guy, offense guy, it makes me think he wants the backups to see what they can actually do. Like, he wants the backups to get these.
Yeah, I
reps.
mean, I don't think they're just going to turn around and hand the ball off. I think they're going to run the full offense with the backups because he has seen, look, man, somebody might get hurt. I need them to really be able to go out here and do this.
Right.
So I don't know.
But
I don't know. If
I also believe that they run straight through this defense as well too. We're gonna see all three running backs, and I think we see a lot of Jeremiah Cobb in this one as well too.
Yeah, I
We've
think
heard
Cobb
great
is
things.
in this one.
Yeah, great things about him in camp. I just don't think that UMass gets a break at any point offensively in this game. Running back room is loaded. Right, like 1 through 4, man, they're loaded. So yeah, I don't think we get a break. I think those guys. I think when it's over.
Sean Jackson is we're loaded 5.
5, yeah. I just think it's not going to be pretty, and those guys they'll average well over 6 yards a carry in this one.
Ben Bloodworth says, imagine paying tens of thousands to stand in the corner of a field and watch the Jumbotron.
So I have thoughts about this.
The new thing, yeah.
I actually think that this is a good idea. And I know I'm in the minority on people because they feel like it's not good seats. But you got to think about how terrible the view is for people who get like sideline passes but can't be in the middle right there where the team is doing stuff. It's essentially that same access. What they're trying to do is get people who want to get closer to the team the ability to do that without having them roam their sidelines and try to figure out how to keep them out of whatever's going on in the middle of things. It's good to have recruits be able to come in and sit somewhere in a designated section next to some high rollers. I think it makes a ton of sense to be able to do this, and it adds capacity to what you have within your stadium. I like it. Now, it's a terrible view, but the point of that is it's not for views, it's for status. That's like, I don't even understand people who like to sit like courtside at basketball games. I don't want a 250-pound LeBron James running over me, diving for a ball. I don't want that, bro.
Spilling my popcorn.
Yeah, I don't need a ref standing with his butt right in my face because that's the best place. I don't need none of that, man. Sit me about 5-6 rows up where I'm close, but I still have a good view. Those courtside and field side passes, that is all status. That's not about how good an access you have to be able to watch the game.
Yeah, I just feel like Hugh Freeze owes us an explanation on this, right? Why hasn't he made a statement?
It's good. That was good.
On these seats.
Who sanctioned these seats, Hugh?
Exactly.
The answers.
The timing of that was great.
Oh,
That was good.
good.
That was good. That was good, Mike. Good job.
Yeah.
Kenji Jones says, who's the best running back since Caddy?
Trey Mason.
Trey Mason, 100%. Yeah. He is so underrated.
Yeah.
Or put them in order. Well, I guess behind Trey Mason. Trey Mason, Kenny Irons, Tank.
Ooh. In that order?
Ooh.
In that order?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I think Tank is going to have the more prolific career going forward. Kenny Irons had the better Auburn career. Now, if you're just talking about talent, that we could get into a debate about that because I do think Tank is bigger, faster. But as far as their Auburn careers, Trey Mason, Kenny Irons, Tank in that order.
Yeah, I just feel like you got to give some respect to the dude that says, I'm
That
going
called
for
the shot.
200.
Yeah.
And then did it. Come on, man.
Kicker mix 6 kicks. Can't believe we didn't win that game.
Yeah, that happened. No disrespect to Tank. He's a great running back.
And for everybody bringing up Kerryon Johnson in this, nobody's saying that none of those guys are worse than Kerryon. I mean, I don't know. I mean, even with Kerryon in there, I think Kerryon had a good 2017 year. The only reason I would not put him up there is because of the almost consistent injury issues that he had that even derailed his professional career. He wasn't durable enough, in my opinion, and compared to those other two guys that we just mentioned, I still would put him behind those guys.
For sure.
Yeah, look, Trey was different, man. Like he was
Trey Mason's easily like it's not even a contest.
1,800 yards, man. He made New York. He made it to New York, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know how you could argue that. He literally went to New York for the Heisman ceremony.
That also tells you how tough it is as a running back to win the Heisman in this day and age with the offenses. Like the number of yards he cranked out, and he finished 4th, I think, in voting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're just not gonna get
Like
that many opportunities these days. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough out here for a running back to try to get to New York.
Yeah.
We didn't forget anybody. Everybody who's naming names. We didn't forget any players. We know all of them. I said what I said. Trey Mason.
Gus was his coach, man. He called the same play 8 times in a row.
Facts.
And Trey Mason was more in shape to handle that load than any running back.
That boy was so different, man.
He was different.
He was different.
Oh, I hated that. Yeah, I don't want to relive that championship game. But I just
y'all were there in person. That's just.
I was so distraught that there was so much time left on the clock. I didn't even see that Trey struck a Heisman pose. I looked at Mike immediately and was like,
"Yeah, we were like, yeah, they left too much time on the clock." Yeah, it was awful.
Okay, grab some more here. Jimmy Carter.
Hey,
he's here.
Jimmy Carter.
Business at the War Rapport. Email us business at the War Rapport. We need your physical address. That mug will be coming your way. Congratulations. Stuart Donald says, I've heard Nehemiah Pritchett may be injured. Just hearsay, or does it have legs?
That is correct that Nehemiah Pritchett is dealing with an injury. That's correct.
Yeah. He is dealing with injuries, but he looks good.
I think he still might play, but I don't know. I think it's going to be sparing. I think they're going to, which is another reason why I think K.N. Lee is going to be a guy I'm looking for this Saturday.
Interesting.
I think he's going to get an opportunity to play.
I'm going to be keeping my eyes on K.N. Lee as well. So, Charles Allen, we appreciate that. I looked for your comment. I didn't see it. Appreciate the super chat there. Ben Bloodworth says UMass walking into an angry Hornets nest. They aren't ready for that crowd. Sellout crowd, man. It's going to be a lot of excitement.
A lot of juice in the building this Saturday.
So I'm excited to see that. I think the players will feed off of that. It's going to be a good day. I'm predicting for sure. Oda Smith says I went away for 20 minutes. I really am tripping on. Of the War Report.
What are you doing besides shrooms right now?
I don't know if you want to confess that one. Let's say there will be thousands of people watching this. Luckily, you have a little bit of anonymity. But
you can't get that at the Broke Top.
Let's get that one off the screen faster. Let's move away from this.
He wanted us to know you was on shrooms.
That's how you know it's real. He's like, I don't even know what I'm typing right now. I'm just saying stuff.
Y'all forgetting Ben Tate? No, we're not.
Ben Tate was really good.
Forgetting Ben Tate.
Good.
We just had a lot of good running backs since Caddy.
We do that.
Okay.
I'm not comfortable with the amount of shroom conversation that's happening right now in the live chat. Like y'all wilding a little bit for me, but it's all good.
Low key, I've been thinking a lot of y'all been on shrooms, but someone finally admitted it. So okay, it kind of confirms what I've been feeling.
When my takes get real hot, I'm gonna start blaming it on shrooms.
No, we're not doing that.
Don't do that.
My doctor is listening. No, I am not on shrooms. If you're watching that,
too many sponsors. No. Yeah. Any closing thoughts, guys? Before we get to. Oda says it's natural.
It is. You're correct.
It is natural. That doesn't take away from the fact.
That's between you and whatever law enforcement that you have to deal with, sir. You don't have to plead anything with me.
That's funny. Any closing thoughts before this game, Mike? You usually
Auburn needs to win.
Auburn needs to win.
Auburn needs to win, and they need to win big. I think this is the opening to the Hugh Freeze era. I think it would be great if he gave fans a show, right? And by a show, I mean a fundamentally sound football team. He doesn't have to be flashy. He doesn't have to open up the playbook. Send a prepared team out there, right? Like Carson talked a lot about culture. He talked about how the culture was bad and guys weren't showing up and all this stuff, right? and he was gone before any of that was fixed. Hugh Freeze came in, started talking about the same things. Well, let's see it, coach. Let's see a team that looks prepared, that looks disciplined, and that looks up to the task. Beat this team into the dirt, right? And this should be over by halftime, right? Now, I get it. They may have a sluggish start, first game jitters, whatever. But ultimately, fans should leave game one feeling hopeful. How many times have we had wins that felt like losses over the last 5 or 6 years?
Sure.
The Georgia States, right? While exciting, that can't happen. That has to go away under Hugh Freeze, right? No more of that. No more letting bad teams stick around, right? If you want to be, the big dog in the conference, you gotta play like it, man. And you stop playing down to the competition. Auburn has done that almost under every coach, I think, since Tuberville, and under Tuberville at times, right? Playing down to the competition. I hope this is the beginning of Hugh Freeze getting so many dudes into the program that's not even possible, right? Fill it up with 5 stars, coach, and go out and crush the competition. Out recruit them, out coach them, out scheme them, out athlete them, out everything. Auburn needs to win this game big. I want 49 points on the board. I want it over by halftime, and I want fans feeling good with Auburn headed out the cow next week. That they can go out there and run the base form of their offense and do the same thing. We don't need Ultra Instinct. We just need Super Saiyan Level 2. We'll get the job done, coach. That's it. That's all we need. That's all
Everybody
we need.
are over 50. I'm sorry.
No. You're not doing that to me. Dragon Ball Super.
No, you're not doing that.
No, you're not making me old on this one, B. Right?
I didn't say. I said
Super.
over 50. I didn't say anybody under a certain age.
You're not doing that, B. You're not doing it.
No.
Mid-50s and younger.
He's saying the older people won't get the reference. The younger ones will. He's giving you the opposite one this time.
They're watching it too.
Yeah, the older people will not understand what you're talking about, though.
All right,
So
well,
we apologize.
time for fan older people.
I'm about to say, he said you're alienating the other end of the spectrum this time.
Okay.
You went the other
whatever.
way. You went the other way with it. Get crunked up to Dragon Ball Z. The spectrum. Wide spectrum there.
And cue a John Brandon joke about Dragon Balls. All right.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
More than likely. Any other thoughts, gentlemen, before we get out of here?
Good.
Football. I want to watch football, eat food. That's what I'm gonna do.
Just in case anyone was wondering, Oda is in Norway.
Oh boy! If y'all
You say-
haven't seen the video
you are
that B Will is referencing, that's why that's funny to me. Dog. Watch
Yeah,
football,
tell me
eat food. That's
time.
funny, bro.
It's watch football, eat food time. It's this time of the year. And God cooled it off for us. Yeah, the high's been 1 million the last week and a half. The high is like 83 on Saturday. Amazing. It's time.
It's time.
It's time for football.
It's time.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. Ike, it's time for people to become a member too. So how can they do that, sir?
Yeah, you can come on board, hit the join button right now if you're on YouTube, and you can get all of this great content that we're dropping out here. We got film reviews, we got game day stuff, and we got tickets that we're giving away. Membership is your access to all of that. If you are a member and you want to gift a membership, you could do that right now from the live chat. Once again, we shout out those that did that. Drake Barefoot just did that. Kiera McAlpine did that again earlier. Brian Hancher did it. Auburn Dad did it. Thank you to everybody who continues to gift membership so people can be a part of what we got going on. You didn't get a chance to win something, you can go to thewarreport.com and you can purchase your own stuff there. Don't forget, it's a whiteout. You won't get any War Report merch soon enough, but make sure you get your white ready for this weekend. But congrats to our winner from today, whose name I forgot that quickly. Oh, Jimmy Carter. How could I forget that one?
How did you forget the president, man?
Yeah. And I didn't mention this earlier, but make sure you guys hit up HelloFresh, man. HelloFresh.com/report or 50 Rapport. You get 50% off and free shipping when you go there. That lets them know the War Report sent you. Listen, we need you all to utilize these codes and go to these sites so these folks know that we got a fan base that's out here supporting what we got going on. Make sure you hit them up, and that lets everybody know what's happening. Rogue Shop, again, you can head over there, stock up on your Rogue Shop before this weekend. Really, you're going to need it for the next weekend versus Cal. I don't think we're going to need any Rogue Shop this weekend, but just in case, go ahead and get that out the way using code Rapport as well. And last but not least, the network. College Loop, the Auburn Express Up-Tempo podcast, all available for you where you listen to pod, and you can get in there and listen to some great Auburn content from the War Report Network.
And before you get out of here, share this content with your friends. Let them know that there's some great Auburn content out on YouTube. The War Report is definitely your source for that. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Instagram, Twitter, even Facebook. You can find us at the War Report. You can also find us at TW Rapport on TikTok. That's it for now, guys. We appreciate you for being with us. Ike's dropping some special content tomorrow. We will be back with the morning drop on Friday. But until then, enjoy the rest of your evening. And as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.